The Greatest Showman is a 2017 American musical period drama film directed by Michael Gracey from a screenplay by Jenny Bicks and Bill Condon, based on an original story by Bicks. The film stars Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, Michelle Williams, Rebecca Ferguson, and Zendaya. Featuring 9 original songs written by Benj, Pasek and Justin Paul, and an original musical orchestral score composed by John Debney and Joseph Trapanese. The film is a heavily fictionalized depiction of the life of P.T. Barnum, a showman and entertainer who created the Barnum and Bailey Circus, and its star attractions. The Greatest Showman premiered on December 8, 2017, aboard the RMS Queen Mary II in New York City and was released in the United States on December 20, by 20th Century Fox, 7 months after Ringling folded and 6 years before the circus was reinstated as an animal-free institution. The film received mixed reviews from critics, who praised the performances, music, visuals, and production values, but criticized its artistic license and overdramatic story. 45678 It was a box office success, grossing $459 million worldwide against an $84 million budget. The film received nominations for Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy and Best Actor, Musical or Comedy for Jackman at the 75th Golden Globe Awards. The Greatest Showman won the Golden Globe Award for Best Original Song for This Is Me, which was also nominated for Best Original Song at the 90th Academy Awards 9 and won Best Compilation Soundtrack for Visual Media at the 61st Annual Grammy Awards. 10 A stage musical adaptation is in development from the Disney Theatrical Group following their parent company's acquisition of the film and the Fox assets in 2019, which will open in Bristol in spring 2026. Plot: in the 19th century, young P.T. Barnum and his tailor father Philo work for the Hallett family. Barnum falls for their daughter, Charity. When Charity attends finishing school, Barnum and she write to each other until they reunite as adults, a million dreams. They eventually marry and raise 2 daughters, Caroline and Helen, in New York City. They live a humble life, and though Charity is happy, Barnum craves more, a million dreams, reprise. Barnum loses his shipping clerk job when the company goes bankrupt due to a typhoon that sank all the firm's cargo vessels. He later secures a bank loan, deceptively using his former employer's lost ships as collateral. He opens Barnum's American Museum in downtown Manhattan, which features various wax figures. Ticket sales are slow, so Caroline and Helen suggest showcasing something alive. Barnum adds freak performers, such as bearded Lady Letty Lutz and dwarf man Charles Stratton, come alive. This garners higher attendance, but also protests and poor reviews from well-known critic James Gordon Bennett Sr. Barnum renames his venture Barnum Circus and recruits playwright Philip Carlyle to help generate publicity, The Other Side. Philip is mesmerized by the African-American trapeze artist Ann Wheeler, but he hides his feelings. Philip arranges for Barnum and his troupe to meet Queen Victoria. Barnum persuades famed Swedish singer Jenny Lind to tour America with him as her manager. Lind's American debut is a success, never enough. During her song, Philip's parents see Anne and him holding hands and he quickly lets go. As Barnum gains favor with aristocratic patrons, he distances himself from his troupe, advising them to work without him. Dejected, they decide to stand against their harassers. This is me. When Philip and Anne attend the theater together, they run into Philip's parents. They chastise him for parading around with the help. Philip tries to convince Anne that they can be together, but she disagrees, saying they will never be accepted socially. Rewrite the stars. As Barnum takes Lind on a US tour, Charity stays home with the girls and feels isolated from her husband, Tightrope. While on tour, Lind becomes romantically attracted to Barnum. When he rejects her advances, she threatens to quit and later retaliates with a kiss at the end of her last show, Never Enough, reprise, which is photographed by the press. Barnum returns home to find his circus on fire caused by a fight between protesters and the troupe. Philip runs into the burning building to save Anne, not knowing that she has already escaped. He suffers serious injuries before Barnum rescues him. The next day, Bennett tells Barnum that the culprits have been caught and that Lind has cancelled her tour after Barnum's scandal. Barnum's mansion is foreclosed. Having found out about the kiss, Charity berates Barnum for his obsessions and takes their daughters to her parents' home. Devastated, Barnum retreats to a local bar. His troupe finds him there and says that despite their disappointments, they still consider themselves a family. Inspired, he resolves to build a new show and not let ambition blind him, from now on. Philip awakens in a hospital with Anne by his side while Barnum and Charity reconcile. A recovering Philip offers his share of the profits to help Barnum rebuild the circus in exchange for becoming a full partner, which Barnum readily accepts. To economize, Barnum transforms the enterprise into an open-air tent circus. The revamped circus is a huge success, the greatest show. Barnum has Philip take his place as the ringmaster so Barnum can spend more time with his family. Barnum leaves the circus early on an African bush elephant to attend Caroline and Helen's ballet recital. Cast: Hugh Jackman as P.T. Barnum, an ambitious showman and entrepreneur. Ellis Rubin as young Barnum. Ziv Zafman provides young Barnum's singing voice 11. Zac Efron as Philip Carlyle, a playwright who becomes Barnum's partner. Michelle Williams as Charity Hallett Barnum, the wife of P.T. Barnum. Skylar Dunn as young Charity. Rebecca Ferguson as Jenny Lind, a famous Swedish singer known as the Swedish Nightingale. Lauren Allred provides Lind's singing voice 12. Zendaya as Ann Wheeler, an acrobat, trapeze artist, and Philip's love interest. Austin Johnson as Caroline Barnum, a daughter of Barnum and Charity who takes up ballet. Cameron Seeley as Helen Barnum, a daughter of Barnum and Charity. Keela Settle as Letty Lutz, a bearded lady. Sam Humphrey as Charles Stratton, a dwarf performer known by his stage name General Tom Thumb. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as W.D. Wheeler, an acrobat, and Anne's older brother. Eric Anderson as Mr. O'Malley, a former pickpocket whom Barnum employs at his circus. Natasha Lou Bordezo as Den Yan, a Chinese acrobat and blade specialist. Paul Sparks as James Gordon Bennett, the founder, editor, and publisher of the New York Herald. Frederick Len as Benjamin Hallett, Charity's father. Gail Rankin as Queen Victoria. Byron Jennings as Mr. Carlyle, Philip's father. Betsy Adam as Mrs. Carlyle, Philip's mother. Damian Young as Mr. Winthrop. Tina Benko as Mrs. Winthrop. Will Swenson as Philo Barnum, a tailor, and P.T. Barnum's late father. Radu Spinghel as Vasily O'Clancy Karpov, a stilt walker and member of Barnum's troupe with the title Irish Giant who is based on circus giant Captain George Auger. Luciano Acuna Jr. as the dog boy, a man with hypertrichosis and member of Barnum's troupe who based on Fedor Jeftichu. Daniel Sun and Yosaku Komori as Chang and Ang Bunker, the Siamese twins who are members of Barnum's troupe. Nick Jantz as a juggler and member of Barnum's troupe. Daniel Everidge as the Lord of Leeds, a 500-pound fat man who is a member of Barnum's troupe. Timothy Hughes as the strongman who is a member of Barnum's troupe. Kenneth Wong Chen as the human cannonball who is a member of Barnum's troupe. Jamie Jackson as the boss of Barnum's first job. Shuler Hensley as the lead protester. James Andrew O'Connor as a firefighter. Adam Haas Hunter as a protester. Martha Nichols as the woman in gold, an African-American member of Barnum's troupe who wears gold paint. Jonathan Radovid as Dancer Oddity No. 1, a three-legged man and member of Barnum's troupe. Shannon Holt Sapfel Dancer Oddity No. 2, a member of Barnum's troupe who is based on Captain Constantinus the Tattooed Man. Jeremy Hudson as Dancer Oddity No. 3, an elephant-skinned man and member of Barnum's troupe. Taylor James as Dancer Oddity No. 4, a human blockhead and member of Barnum's troupe. Chelsea Casso as Dancer Oddity No. 5, a tattooed lady and member of Barnum's troupe. Kauf Coleman and Miss Hattie Petronelli as Dancer Oddities No. 6 and No. 7, two albino twins who are members of Barnum's troupe. Kazan Brailsford as Ensemble Dancer No. 1, an African American man in white clothes and white dreadlocks who is a member of Barnum's troupe. Alex Wong as ensemble dancer number 2, a Chinese man and member of Barnum's troupe. Julius Rubio as ensemble dancer number 3, a member of Barnum's troupe that wears gold clothes. Vincent Oliver Noiser as ensemble dancer number 4, a horned member of Barnum's troupe. Sonny Walters and Ilya Jessica Castro as ensemble dancer number 5 and number 6, 2 African American twins and members of Barnum's troupe. Najla Gilliam as ensemble dancer number 7, a snake charmer and member of Barnum's troupe. Christina Glur as ensemble dancer number 8, an Egyptian lady and member of Barnum's troupe. James Babson as additional voices. Sandu Trio Russian Bar makes an uncredited background cameo during the revamped circus scene. 13. Production. Development. During rehearsals for the 81st Academy Awards in 2009, producers Lawrence Mark and Bill Condon compared host Jackman to Barnum. After Jackman expressed interest in a Barnum project, Mark and Condon approached Jenny Bicks, a writer for the ceremony. She and Condon wrote The Greatest Showman. 14. The project was first announced in 2009 under the title The Greatest Showman on Earth, with Jackman already set for the title role. 15. In August 2011, Michael Gracey was chosen to direct. 16. In 2013, Fox hired songwriter team of Benj, Pasek and Justin Paul to write the songs. 17. In early 2016, the cast performed a read-through in front of producers to greenlight the film. Pasek and Paul approached Jeremy Jordan to sing the part of Carlisle, since Jordan recorded demos for the film in 2015. 18. The day before the read-through, Jackman underwent nasal surgery and was ordered by his doctor not to sing. Pasek and Paul asked Jordan to also sing the part of Barnum, while Jackman acted out the scenes, to which Jordan agreed. 18. While the cast performed From Now On, Jackman disobeyed orders and began singing along with Jordan. This brought the read-through to an emotional end, which resulted in the film being greenlit. 19. On June 15, 2016, Zac Efron began negotiations to star in the film 20, and in July 2016, Michelle Williams was cast. 21. The film was choreographed by Ashley Wallen. 22. Filming. The film took 7 years to produce, and Jackman had 10 weeks of preparation before filming started. 23. Rehearsals on the film began in October 2016 in New York City, and principal photography began on November 22, 2016. 24. Post-production. In December 2017, James Mangold, who had worked with Jackman on several projects, including 2017's Logan, reportedly had been brought in to serve as an executive producer during the film's post-production. In an interview, director Michael Gracey noted, "There were 8 producers on this film, and it was amazing having one of them be a filmmaker." 25. Music. Musical numbers. Zac Efron and Zendaya being interviewed regarding Rewrite the Stars and The Greatest Showman. Benj, Pasek and Justin Paul wrote all the songs appearing in the film. 26. The Greatest Show, Hugh Jackman. A Million Dreams, Ziv Zafman, Jackman, Michelle Williams. A Million Dreams, reprise, Austin Johnson, Cameron Seeley, Jackman. Come Alive, Jackman, Keela Settle, Daniel Everidge, Zendaya, The Greatest Showman Ensemble. The Other Side, Jackman, Zac Efron. Never Enough, Lauren Allred. This Is Me, Settle, Ensemble. Rewrite the Stars, Efron, Zendaya. Tightrope, Williams. Never Enough, reprise, Allred. From Now On, Jackman, Ensemble. The Greatest Show, finale, Jackman, Efron, Settle, Zendaya, Ensemble. Soundtrack. Main article, The Greatest Showman, soundtrack. The soundtrack album is produced by Justin Paul, Benj Pasek, Greg Wells, Kevin Weaver, and Pete Gonbarg, featuring the 11 tracks performed by the cast. In the United Kingdom, on March 23, 2018, it became only the second album in 30 years to achieve 11 consecutive weeks at number 1, equaling the record set by Adele's 27-28 as of January 25, 2019. The album has spent the sixth most time at number 1 at 28 non-consecutive weeks, matching the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. 29. The Greatest Showman, reimagined. Main article, The Greatest Showman, soundtrack, The Greatest Showman, reimagined. On November 16, 2018, a remix album was also released, The Greatest Showman, reimagined, which features covers of songs from the soundtrack by musicians including James Arthur, Anne-Marie, Sarah Bareilles, Kelly Clarkson, Kesha, Pink, Panic! At the Disco, Years and Years, Jessica, Ty Dolla $ign, Missy Elliott, and Zac Brown Band, among others. 3031. Release. Hugh Jackman at the film's Japanese premiere on February 13, 2018. The Greatest Showman held its premiere on December 8, 2017, aboard RMS Queen Mary 2, while she was docked in New York City. The film was originally scheduled to be released on December 25, 2016, in the United States and Canada, but was moved to avoid competition with La La Land. The release date was pushed back a year from its original release date of December 25, 2016, to December 25, 2017, before then being moved up 1 week from December 25, 2017, to December 20, 2017. 3233. As with Disney's live-action Beauty and the Beast, a sing-along version of the film was released in the United Kingdom on February 23, 2018. 34. The film had a limited IMAX release on February 2, 2018. Citation needed. Marketing. On June 28, 2017, 20th Century Fox released the first international trailer to promote the film. On November 13, 2017, the second trailer was released. 35. On December 17, 2017, Fox televised a live performance of Come Alive from Warner Brothers Studios during its live musical special A Christmas Story Live, which was based on fellow Pasek and Paul work A Christmas Story, the musical. The number featured the film's stars and a cast of 150 dancers. 3637. Home media. In the United States, the film was released via digital download on March 20, 2018, and was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K Ultra HD on April 10, 2018. 38. In the United Kingdom, the film was released first on digital download on April 27, 2018, while DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K Ultra HD copies went on sale on May 14, 2018. These versions included the sing-along version, 2 hours of behind-the-scenes footage, and Music Machine jukebox features. 39. The Greatest Showman was released on the US and Canada version of Disney's streaming service Disney Plus on August 14, 2020 following Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox in 2019. 41. Reception. Box office. The Greatest Showman spent 219 days in release, closing on July 26, 2018, having grossed $174.3 million in the United States and Canada, and $260.7 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $435 million, against a production budget of $84 million. 3. It is the third highest grossing musical ever in North America and also the third highest globally, and Deadline Hollywood estimated the film would turn a profit of $50 to $100 million. 42. In the United States and Canada, The Greatest Showman was released alongside Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and was projected to gross around $21 million from 3,006 theaters over its first 6 days. 43-44 it took in $2.5 million on its first day and $2.1 million on its second. Over the 3-day weekend, it grossed $9 million, for a 6-day total of $19 million, finishing fourth at the box office, behind Star Wars, The Last Jedi, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle and Pitch Perfect 3. 45 in its second weekend, the film grossed $15.5 million, again finishing fourth at the box office. 46 the weekend-to-weekend increase of 76.3% marked the largest ever for a film playing in over 3,000 theaters, and the fourth biggest ever. 47-48 in its third week, the film dropped 11% to $14 million. 49 the film made $13 million in its fourth weekend and $11 million in its fifth, finishing fourth and fifth at the box office, respectively. 50 the film continued to hold well in its sixth week of release, grossing $9.5 million, and returning to fourth place 51 and again finished fourth in its seventh week, this time grossing $7.8 million, a drop of just 18%. 52 it is the 14th highest grossing film that never reached first place at the American box office. 53. Critical response. The film received mixed reviews from critics upon release. 54, 55, 56 as reported by Entertainment Weekly, critics felt The Greatest Showman embraces the spectacle and showmanship of Barnum via vibrant musical numbers and lavish visuals, but its superficial approach to character development and historical nuance makes it more an extravagant diversion than a substantive biographical portrait. 57 on review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, 56% of 263 reviews are positive, and the average rating is 6/10. The website's critical consensus reads, "The Greatest Showman tries hard to dazzle the audience with a Barnum-style sense of wonder but at the expense of its complex subject's far more intriguing real-life story." 58. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 48 out of 100, based on reviews from 43 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. 59 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on an A+ to F scale, while those at Post-Track gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars and a 70% definite recommend. 45. Owen Gleiberman of Variety gave the film a positive review, writing, "The Greatest Showman is a concoction, the kind of film where all the pieces click into place, yet at an hour and 45 minutes it flies by, and the link it draws between P.T. Barnum and the spirit of today is more than hype." 60. Richard Roper of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, saying, "With all that corn and cheese and old-timey sentiment, The Greatest Showman ends up scoring some very timely social arguments. P.T. Barnum himself would have approved the dramatic sleight of hand." 61. Steve Purcell of Tampa Bay Times gave the film an A, and said, "The Greatest Showman is the feel-good movie the holiday season needs." 62 While William Bibiani of IGN gave The Greatest Showman a score of 7.9 out of 10, and called the film wildly entertaining. 63. Britton Peele of the Dallas Morning News said, "The story is interesting and the beats are well acted, but it's the musical numbers that make The Greatest Showman." 64. Jackie K. Cooper of HuffPost gave the film a score of 10/10 and wrote, "You will be overwhelmed by the music and magic that explode on the screen. The film has a message that should resonate with today's world concerning acceptance and courage." 65. Hugh Armitage of Digital Spy said, "The Greatest Showman is a broad and solid crowd pleaser. An undemanding spectacle for all the family." 66. Alan Jones of the Radio Times called it a joyously uplifting potpourri of visual resplendence, stylish choreography, and solid gold magic, one engineered to approximate the lavish spectacle the movie musical once offered. 67. Sheila O'Malley of RoachRabbit.com gave it 3.5 out of 4, stating, The Greatest Showman is an unabashed piece of pure entertainment punctuated by memorable songs. 68. James Berardinelli of Real Views gave the film 3 out of 4, and said, "The film has show-stopping well-choreographed numbers with catchy tunes." 69. And Calvin Wilson of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch called the film highly enjoyable. 70. Carl Kozlowski of Pasadena Weekly gave the film an A, calling it groundbreaking and grandly innovative. 71. Sean P. Means of the Salt Lake Tribune gave The Greatest Showman 3.5 out of 4, stating, "A strong cast give emotional power to this romanticized, tune-filled biography." 72. Manuela Lazik of Little White Lies gave it 4 out of 5, saying, "The Greatest Showman deserves to become a Christmas classic." The film's severe romanticism and ridiculous but affecting enthusiasm make it irresistibly life-affirming. 73. Pete Hammond of Deadline Hollywood gave the film 4 out of 5 stars and called it, "A fantasia of song and dance, a joyous exercise in pure entertainment that is made for the holiday crowd." 74. Conversely, Mick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle gave the film a negative review, criticizing the songs and characters, and saying, "There's idiotic, and there's magnificent, but The Greatest Showman is that special thing that happens sometimes. It's magnificently idiotic. It's an awful mess, but it's flashy. The temptation is to cover your face and watch it through your fingers because it's so earnest and embarrassing and misguided, and yet it's well made." 75. In a negative review for The Hollywood Reporter, David Rooney wrote, "This ersatz portrait of American big top tent impresario P.T. Barnum is all smoke and mirrors, no substance. It hammers pedestrian themes of family, friendship, and inclusivity while neglecting the fundaments of character and story." 76. Writing for Rolling Stone, Peter Travers gave the film 1.5 out of 4 stars, saying, "How do you cast a virtuoso Hugh Jackman as P.T. Barnum, spare no expense in production values, add a score by Oscar and Tony winners Benj, Pasek and Justin Paul, and still end up with the shrill blast of nothing that is The Greatest Showman?" Ask first-time director Michael Gracey, who cut his teeth on commercials and music videos without ever mastering the crucial knack of building snippets of musical comedy and drama into a satisfying whole. 77. Justin Chang of the Los Angeles Times wrote that the film's failures are rooted in something deeper, a dispiriting lack of faith in the audience's intelligence, and a dawning awareness of its own aesthetic hypocrisy. "You've rarely seen a more straight-laced musical about the joys of letting your freak flag fly." 78. In February 2025, The Washington Post ranked the film at number 20 on its list of the 25 best movie musicals of the 21st century, with Navin Kumar writing songwriters Benj, Pasek and Justin Paul ushered in an era of deeply affecting and earworm Broadway pop with their Tony-winning musical Dear Evan Hansen. Their score for this fictionalized biopic of circus mastermind P.T. Barnum is full of undeniable bops. 79. Historical revisionism. The Greatest Showman included many historical inaccuracies and omissions. Vanity Fair called it a highly fictionalized musical biopic. 80. The New Yorker said, "There's a sort of poetic injustice in the fact that The Greatest Showman, the new musical, based on the life of P.T. Barnum, the long-famed Prince of Humbug, should be largely fabricated out of synthetic cloth." 81. The Smithsonian Magazine wrote that P.T. Barnum isn't the hero The Greatest Showman wants you to think, highlighting that his path to fame and notoriety began by exploiting an enslaved woman, in life and in death, as entertainment for the masses. 82. The Smithsonian refers to Barnum's first theatrical foray in 1835, where he exhibited an African-American slave woman named Joyce Haight and claimed she had raised George Washington and was 161 years old, while she was actually in her late 70s. At the time, owning slaves in New York was illegal, but Barnum got around this by renting Haight. After she died in 1836, Barnum arranged a public autopsy of Haight, for which he charged admission. In her book Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present, Harriet A. Washington included this as an example of the way African Americans were treated as subhuman in terms of medical procedures and testing. 83. Another Barnum hoax was the Fiji mermaid, which in reality was the body of a monkey and the tail of a fish stitched together. 84. Barnum's shows were also notorious for the cruelty inflicted on the animals, which resulted in the death of at least 2 whales. 85. 86. Rhoda Roberts, arts director of the Sydney Opera House, criticized the film for not addressing that Barnum coerced and kidnapped native peoples to perform in human zoos as a form of entertainment. 87. In addition to leaving out many aspects of Barnum's career, the people and events depicted in the movie were heavily fictionalized. The 2 lead characters, Philip Carlyle and Ann Wheeler, were completely fictional. The character of Jenny Lind is portrayed as a glamorous woman who becomes infatuated with Barnum and, when he does not respond to her overtures, quits the show. In her final performance, she lured Barnum out to the stage for a public kiss in an attempt to flame rumors about their romance. In reality, Lind dressed plainly and was known for her charitable donations both in her home country and to various charities in the United States. Neither Lind nor Barnum displayed any romantic interest in each other. Lind found Barnum to be crude, and Barnum was more interested in money than romance. Lind broke off her successful tour with Barnum early because she was unhappy with Barnum's marketing. Hugh Michael Jackman, born October 12, 1968, is an Australian actor, singer, and producer. Beginning in theatre and television, Jackman landed his breakthrough role as Wolverine, playing it across the X-Men film franchise and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe from X-Men, 2000, to Deadpool and Wolverine, 2024. Prominent on both screen and stage, he has received various accolades, including a Primetime Emmy Award, a Grammy Award and 2 Tony Awards, along with nominations for an Academy Award and a British Academy Film Award. Jackman was appointed a Companion of the Order of Australia in 2019. Jackman has headlined films in various genres, including the romantic comedy Kate and Leopold, 2001, the action horror Van Helsing, 2004, the drama The Prestige, 2006, the period romance Australia, 2008, the science fiction Real Steel, 2011, the musical Les Miserables, 2012, the thriller Prisoners, 2013, the musical The Greatest Showman, 2017, the political drama The Front Runner, 2018, and the crime drama Bad Education, 2019. For his role as Jean Valjean in Les Miserables, he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor and won a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, and for The Greatest Showman soundtrack, Jackman received a Grammy Award for Best Compilation Soundtrack. He also provided voice roles in the animated films Flushed Away, Happy Feet, both 2006, Rise of the Guardians, 2012, and Missing Link, 2019. Jackman is also known for his early theatre roles in the original Australian productions of Beauty and the Beast as Gaston in 1995 and Sunset Boulevard as Joe Gillis in 1996. He earned a Laurence Olivier Award nomination for his performance as Curly McLean in the West End revival of Oklahoma. In 1998. In 2002, he made his American stage debut in a concert of Carousel as Billy Bigelow at Carnegie Hall. On Broadway, he won the 2004 Tony Award and Drama Desk Award for Best Actor in a Musical for his role of Peter Allen in The Boy from Oz. From 2021 to 2023, Jackman starred as con man Harold Hill in the Broadway revival of the musical The Music Man, earning another Tony Award nomination. A 4-time host of the Tony Awards, he won an Emmy Award for hosting the 2005 ceremony. He also hosted the 81st Academy Awards in 2009. Early life. Jackman was born in Sydney, New South Wales, to English parents Grace McNeil, née Greenwood, and Christopher John Jackman, 1936, September 5, 2021, to a Cambridge-educated accountant. 3-4 His parents moved to Australia in 1967 as part of the £10 Palms immigration scheme. 4 Thus, in addition to his Australian citizenship, Jackman holds British citizenship by virtue of being born to UK-born parents. 5-6 One of his paternal great-grandfathers, Nicholas Isidore Bellas, was Greek. 7-8 From the Ottoman Empire, now in Greece. 9-10 His parents were devout Christians, having been converted by evangelist Billy Graham after their marriage. 4 Jackman has 4 older siblings and was the second of his parents' children to be born in Australia. 11 He also has a younger half-sister, from his mother's remarriage. 12 His parents divorced when he was 8, and Jackman remained in Australia with his father and 2 brothers, while his mother moved back to England with Jackman's 2 sisters. 13-14 As a child, Jackman liked the outdoors, spending much time at the beach and on camping trips and school holidays all over Australia. He wanted to see the world, saying, "I used to spend nights looking at atlases. I decided I wanted to be a chef on a plane. Because I'd been on a plane and there was food on board, I presumed there was a chef. I thought that would be an ideal job." 15. Jackman went to primary school at Pymble Public School and later attended the all-boys Knox Grammar School on Sydney's Upper North Shore, where he starred in its production of My Fair Lady in 1985 and became the school captain in 1986. 16 He spent a gap year in 1987-17 working at Uppingham School in England as a physical education teacher. 18-19 On his return, he studied at the University of Technology Sydney, graduating in 1991 with a BA in Communications. 20 In his final year of university, he took a drama course to make up additional credits. The class did Václav Havel's The Memorandum with Jackman as the lead. 11 He later commented, "In that week I felt more at home with those people than I did in the entire 3 years at university." 21. After obtaining his BA, Jackman completed the 1-year course The Journey at the Actors Centre in Sydney. 11 About studying acting full-time, he stated, "It wasn't until I was 22 that I ever thought about my hobby being something I could make a living out of. As a boy, I'd always had an interest in theatre. But the idea at my school was that drama and music were to round out the man. It wasn't what one did for a living. I got over that. I found the courage to stand up and say, I want to do it. 22. After completing The Journey, he was offered a role on the popular soap opera Neighbours but turned it down. 23 To attend the Western Australian Academy of Performing Arts of Edith Cowan University in Perth, Western Australia, from which he graduated in 1994. 24. Jackman has said he always loved acting, but when I started at drama school I was like the dunce of the class. It just wasn't coming right to me. Everyone was cooler, everyone seemed more likely to succeed, everyone seemed more natural at it, and in retrospect, I think that is good. I think it is good to come from behind as an actor. I think it is good to go into an audition thinking, man, I've got to be at my best to get this gig. 25. Career. 1995 to 1999, early career in theater. On the night of his final Academy graduation performance, Jackman received a phone call offering him a role on Corelli, I Was Technically Unemployed for 13 Seconds. Corelli, devised by Australian actress Denise Roberts, was a 10-part drama series on ABC, Jackman's first major professional job, and where he met his future wife Deborah Lee Furness. Jackman stated that meeting my wife was the greatest thing to come out of it. 22. The show lasted only 1 season. After Corelli, Jackman went on the stage in Melbourne. In 1996, Jackman played Gaston in the local Walt Disney production of Beauty and the Beast, and Joe Gillis in Sunset Boulevard. 11. During his stage musical career in Melbourne, he starred in the 1998 Midsummer Festival cabaret production Summer Cabaret. He also hosted Melbourne's Carols by Candlelight and Sydney's Carols in the Domain. Jackman's early film works include Erskineville Kings and Paperback Hero, 1999, and his television work includes Law of the Land, Halifax FP, Blue Heelers, and Banjo Patterson's The Man from Snowy River. Jackman became known outside Australia in 1998, when he played the leading role of Curly in the Royal National Theatre's acclaimed stage production of Oklahoma, in London's West End. 11. The performance earned him an Olivier Award nomination for Best Actor in a Musical. Jackman said, "I totally felt like it can't get any better than this. On some level that production will be one of the highlights of my career." 26. He also starred in the 1999 film version of the same stage musical, which has been screened in many countries. 2000 to 2004, breakthrough with Wolverine and the X-Men. Jackman had his breakthrough role playing Wolverine in Bryan Singer's X-Men, 2000, a superhero film based on the Marvel Comics team of the same name. 27. Co-starring Patrick Stewart, James Marsden, Famke Janssen, and Ian McKellen, the film tells the story of a group of mutants, whose superhuman powers make them distrusted by normal humans, but who fight to protect humans from villains. The role was originally written for Russell Crowe, who instead suggested Jackman for the part. 28. Jackman says that his wife advised him against taking on the role, as she found it ridiculous. 29. He initially studied wolves to develop his character, as he thought that Wolverine alluded to wolves. 30. X-Men was successful at the box office, earning $296 million US. 31. The role earned him a Saturn Award for Best Actor. 32. Wolverine was tough for Jackman to portray because he had few lines, but much emotion to convey in them. To prepare, he watched Clint Eastwood in the Dirty Harry movies and Mel Gibson in Mad Max 2. There were guys who had relatively little dialogue, like Wolverine had, but you knew and felt everything. I'm not normally one to copy, but I wanted to see how these guys achieved it. 33. Jackman was adamant about doing his own stunts for the movie. We worked a lot on the movement style of Wolverine, and I studied some martial arts. I watched a lot of Mike Tyson fights, especially his early fights. There's something about his style, the animal rage, that seemed right for Wolverine. I kept saying to the writers, don't give me long, choreographed fights for the sake of it. Don't make the fights pretty. 34. Jackman also had to get used to wearing Wolverine's claws. He said, every day in my living room, I'd just walk around with those claws, to get used to them. I've got scars on one leg, punctures straight through the cheek, on my forehead. I'm a bit clumsy. I'm lucky I didn't tell them that when I auditioned. 15. Jackman signing autographs for The Boy from Oz outside Broadway in 2003. At 6 feet 2 in, 1.88 m, Jackman stands 11 in, 28 centimeters, taller than Wolverine, who is said in the original comic book to be 5 feet 3 in, 1.60 m. 35-36. Hence, the filmmakers were frequently forced to shoot Jackman at unusual angles or only from the waist up to make him appear shorter than he actually is, and his co-stars wore platform soles. Jackman was also required to add a great deal of muscle for the role, and in preparing for the fourth film in the series, he bench pressed over 136 kilograms 300 pounds. 37. Jackman reprised his role in 2003's X2, 2000, and SIX's X-Men, The Last Stand, and the 2009 prequel X-Men Origins, Wolverine, where Troye Sivan played the younger version of James Howlett. He also cameoed as Wolverine in 2011's X-Men, First Class. He returned for the role of Wolverine again in 2013's The Wolverine, a standalone sequel taking place after the events of X-Men, The Last Stand, and reprised the character in the 2014 sequel X-Men, Days of Future Past, and briefly in the 2016 follow-up X-Men, Apocalypse. 38. In 2015, Jackman announced that the 2017 sequel to The Wolverine, Logan, was the final time that he would play the role. 39. It earned him the Guinness World Record of longest career as a live-action Marvel superhero, although this record has since been surpassed. 41. Jackman starred as Leopold in the 2001 romantic comedy film Kate and Leopold, a role for which he received a Best Actor Golden Globe nomination. 11. Jackman plays a Victorian English duke who accidentally time travels to 21st century Manhattan, where he meets Kate, Meg Ryan, a cynical advertising executive. In 2001, Jackman also starred in the action/drama Swordfish with John Travolta and Halle Berry. This was the second time Jackman worked with Berry, and the two have worked together thrice more in the X-Men movies. He hosted an episode of Saturday Night Live in 2001. In 2002, Jackman sang the role of Billy Bigelow in the musical Carousel in a special concert performance at Carnegie Hall with the Orchestra of St. Luke's. In 2004, Jackman won the Tony Award and the Drama Desk Award for Outstanding Actor in a Musical for his 2003 to 2004 Broadway portrayal of Australian songwriter and performer Peter Allen in the hit musical The Boy from Oz, which he also performed in Australia in 2006. 11. In addition, Jackman hosted the Tony Awards in 2003, 2004, and 2005, garnering positive reviews. His hosting of the 2004 Tony Awards earned him an Emmy Award for Outstanding Individual Performer in a Variety, Musical, or Comedy Program. After 2003's X2, Jackman played the title role of monster killer Gabriel Van Helsing in the 2004 film Van Helsing. 11. Jackman and the film were noted in Bruce A. McClelland's book Slayers and Their Vampires, A Cultural History of Killing the Dead. 2005 to 2007, Hollywood success. Jackman in New York Harbor in 2006. Jackman was asked to consider taking on the role of James Bond before Daniel Craig was chosen to play the character, but turned it down due to other commitments. Speaking to the British Press Association in 2011, Jackman said, "I was about to shoot X-Men 2 and Wolverine had become this thing in my life and I didn't want to be doing two such iconic characters at once." 42. Alongside Christian Bale, Michael Caine, and Scarlett Johansson, Jackman starred in The Prestige, 2006, a mystery thriller from Christopher Nolan. Jackman portrayed Robert Angier, an aristocratic magician who builds up a rivalry with contemporary Alfred Borden, Bale, in an attempt to one-up each other in the art of deception. After reading the script, Jackman expressed interest in starring in the film, and Nolan believed that the actor had the qualities of the character. 43. Jackman based his portrayal of Angier on 1950s-era American magician Channing Pollock. 44. The Prestige was acclaimed and a box office success. 45-46. Jackman portrayed three different characters in Darren Aronofsky's science fiction film The Fountain: Tommy Creo, a neuroscientist, who is torn between his wife, Izzy, Rachel Weisz, who is dying of a brain tumor, and his work at trying to cure her, Captain Tomás Creo, a Spanish conquistador in 1532 Seville, and a future astronaut, Tom, traveling to a golden nebula in an eco-spacecraft seeking to be reunited with Izzy. Jackman said The Fountain was his most difficult film thus far due to the physical and emotional demands of the part. Citation needed. Jackman also starred in Woody Allen's 2006 film Scoop opposite Scarlett Johansson. That year he also reprised the role of Wolverine in X-Men: The Last Stand. He rounded out 2006 with two animated films, Happy Feet, directed by George Miller, in which he voiced the part of Memphis, an emperor penguin, singing Heartbreak Hotel, and Flushed Away, where Jackman supplied the voice of a rat named Roddy who ends up being flushed down a family's toilet into the London sewer system, Jackman's fourth film co-starring with Ian McKellen. Citation needed. In 2007, Jackman produced and guest-starred in the television musical dramedy series Viva Laughlin, which was cancelled by CBS after 2 episodes. 47. In 2007, Jackman became the patron of the Actors Centre Australia where he studied, and remains so. Citation needed. 2008 to 2011, returned to Broadway. Hugh Jackman at the Sydney premiere for Real Steel in September 2011. In 2008, director Baz Luhrmann cast Jackman to replace Russell Crowe as the male lead in his much-publicized epic film, Australia, which co-starred Nicole Kidman. The movie was released in late November 2008 in Australia, and the US. Jackman played a tough, independent cattle drover, who reluctantly helps an English noblewoman in her quest to save both her philandering husband's Australian cattle station and the mixed-race Aboriginal child she finds there. Of the movie, Jackman said, "This is pretty much one of those roles that had me pinching myself all the way through the shoot. I got to shoot a big-budget, shamelessly old-fashioned romantic epic set against one of the most turbulent times in my native country's history, while, at the same time, celebrating that country's natural beauty, its people, its cultures. I'll die a happy man knowing I've got this film on my CV." 48. That year, People magazine named Jackman its 2008 Sexiest Man Alive. 49. Jackman co-starred with Daniel Craig on Broadway at the Schoenfeld Theatre in a limited engagement of the play A Steady Rain, which ran from September 10, 2009 to December 6, 2009. 50. Jackman had a one-man show at the Curran Theatre in San Francisco from 3 to 15 May 2011. 51. The production was a mixture of his favorite Broadway and Hollywood musical numbers, backed by a 17-piece orchestra, from shows including Oklahoma and The Boy from Oz. The show had a runtime of approximately 100 minutes, and also included slideshows of Jackman's youth, family, and work, as well as some one-on-one interaction with the audience. Jackman was backed by fellow musical theater veterans Merle Dandridge and Angel Rita. 52-53. He later returned to Broadway in a new show, Hugh Jackman, back on Broadway at the Broadhurst Theatre, which began performances on October 25, 2011 and concluded on January 1, 2012. 54. 2012 to 2018, award success, retiring Wolverine, and film musicals. Jackman at the 2015 San Diego Comic-Con. In a November 2012 release, Jackman voiced the role of E. Aster Bunny Munt, the Easter Bunny, in the animated film Rise of the Guardians 55, while his image was licensed to represent the skullduggery pleasant character Saracen Rue in the spin-off novel Tanith Lo-In. The Maleficent 7, published December 2012. 56. Jackman starred as Jean Valjean in Tom Hooper's Les Miserables, an adaptation of the musical. The film opened on December 25, 2012. 57. 58. 59. For the role, he lost 15 pounds and later had to regain 30 pounds to mirror his character's newfound success. 60. He won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, Motion Picture Musical or Comedy in January 2013 for this performance and received his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. 61. Jackman appeared alongside Kate Winslet in movie 43, an ensemble comedy, in January 2013. 62. Jackman, along with actress Kristen Wiig, was featured on You've Got the Look, a song by comedy hip-hop group The Lonely Island on their third album, The Whack Album, released in June 2013. Jackman returned to Broadway in the new play, The River, which ran at the Circle in the Square Theatre from October 2014 to February 2015. 63. Jackman at the Japanese premiere of his 2017 film, The Greatest Showman. In November and December 2015, Jackman made a national tour of Australia with his show Broadway to Oz. He performed a range of songs from Broadway musicals, from Les Miserables to a Peter Allen tribute, including classics such as I Still Call Australia Home, with his 150-piece orchestra, choir, and backup dancers. 64. The show began at Melbourne's Rod Laver Arena and proceeded to Qantas Credit Union Arena, Brisbane Entertainment Centre, the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, and the Perth Arena. Jackman then portrayed the villain Blackbeard in the film Pan, which revolved around the backstories of J.M. Barrie's characters Peter Pan and Captain Hook. The movie received generally negative reviews and was a failure at the box office. 65 In 2016, Jackman played fictional ski coach, Bronson Peary, in Eddie the Eagle 66, which portrayed how Eddie the Eagle Edwards became the first competitor to represent Great Britain in Olympic ski jumping in 1988. 67. Jackman had an uncredited cameo as Wolverine in the 2016 film X-Men: Apocalypse. 68 In 2017, he reprised the character for what was intended to be the final time in the third Wolverine film, Logan. 69 Jackman's performance and the film were critically acclaimed, and it is regarded as one of the greatest superhero films of all time. 74 His 17-year spanning long performance as Wolverine, Jackman topped the Hollywood Reporter's greatest superhero movie performances of all time list. 71 That year, he also starred as P.T. Barnum in the musical The Greatest Showman. 72 He received a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, Motion Picture Musical or Comedy nomination for the film, his third Golden Globe nomination, and also received a Grammy Award for Best Soundtrack Album. 73. In 2018, he starred as American Senator Gary Hart in Jason Reitman's political drama film The Front Runner, which chronicled the rise of Hart as a Democratic presidential candidate in 1988, and his subsequent fall from grace when media reports surfaced of his extramarital affair. In 2019, he voiced the character Sir Lionel Frost in the animated film Missing Link. 2019, present, concert tour, The Music Man and reprising Wolverine. In 2019, Jackman went on his first world tour called The Man, The Music, The Show, to perform songs from the album, The Greatest Showman, original motion picture soundtrack, and Broadway/Hollywood musical numbers. 74 Comprising 88 shows, the tour visits North America, Europe, and Oceania. It began in May 2019, in Glasgow, Scotland, and concluded in October 2019, in San Antonio, United States. 75 In the 2019 Queen's Birthday Honours, Jackman was appointed a Companion of the Order of Australia for eminent service to the performing arts as an acclaimed actor and performer, and to the global community, particularly as an advocate for poverty eradication. 76-77. Jackman performing during TMT's tour. Jackman starred in the comedy drama Bad Education, 2019, opposite Allison Janney. 78 Jackman and Laura Dern starred in Florian Zeller's film The Sun, adapted from Zeller's own play of the same name. 79-80. He returned to Broadway in a revival of The Music Man, playing Harold Hill, which began previews in December 2021 and played from February 2022 to January 2023. 81 For his performance, Jackman received his second nomination for the Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical. 82 The revival received mixed reviews but was a success at the box office. 83. Jackman reprised his role as Wolverine, in Deadpool and Wolverine, starring Ryan Reynolds, set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 84 It was released on July 26, 2024. 85. About training to reprise his Wolverine role, Jackman said, "I was thrilled. My body was a little sore at the beginning, but I was thrilled that my body was still responding. And I realized how good it is for your brain. But the hardest bit, the food. I have to eat a lot. For me, for my body type, I'm naturally skinny. To get the size on, that's the hardest bit. That's the bit that does my head in." 86. Other ventures. Production company. In 2005, Jackman joined with longtime assistant John Palermo to form a production company, Seed Productions, whose first project was Viva Laughlin in 2007. Jackman's wife Deborah Lee Furness is also involved in the company, and Palermo had 3 rings made with a unity inscription for himself, Furness, and Jackman. 87 Jackman said, "I'm very lucky in the partners I work with in my life, Deb and John Palermo. It really works. We all have different strengths. I love it. It's very exciting. 88. Philanthropy. Jackman is a longtime proponent of microcredit, the extension of very small loans to prospective entrepreneurs in impoverished countries. He is a vocal supporter of Muhammad Yunus, microcredit pioneer, and the 2006 Nobel Peace Prize winner. 89. On April 14, 2009, Jackman posted on his Twitter page that he would donate $100,000 to one individual's favorite nonprofit organization. 90. On April 21, 2009, he revealed his decision to donate $50,000 to Charity Water and $50,000 to Operation of Hope. 91-92. Jackman is a global advisor of the Global Poverty Project, for which he narrated a documentary. 93. Jackman hosted a preview of the Global Poverty Project presentation in New York with Donna Karan, Lisa Fox, and his wife Deborah Lee Furness. 94. Jackman supports the Art of Elysium. 95. And the MPTV Fund Foundation. 96. And he and Furness are patrons of the Bone Marrow Institute in Australia. 97. In December 2009, during the 21st annual Gypsy of the Year competition, it was announced that Jackman and fellow actor Daniel Craig had raised $1,549,953 for Broadway Cares/Equity Fights AIDS from 6 weeks of curtain appeals at their hit Broadway drama, A Steady Rain. 98. Jackman continued his support of Broadway Cares in 2011, raising nearly $1 million during his run of Hugh Jackman, back on Broadway. 99. Jackman also narrated the 2008 documentary about global warming, The Burning Season. 100. He is also a World Vision Ambassador and participated in the Climate Week NYC 101 ceremony on September 21, 2009. 102. 103. Jackman launched the Laughing Man Coffee Company in 2011. He founded 2 cafes in Lower Manhattan, and also sold the coffee online, before it also became a brand for Keurig. Jackman founded the company after a trip to Ethiopia in 2009 for World Vision, where he met a fair trade coffee farmer named Tukale. All profits from Laughing Man Coffee go to the Laughing Man Foundation, which supports educational programs, community development, and social entrepreneurs around the world. 104. 105. Personal life. Jackman married Deborah Lee Furness on April 11, 1996, at St. John's in Turok, Victoria, a suburb of Melbourne. 106. They met on the set of Australian TV show Corelli. 107. Jackman personally designed an engagement ring for Furness, and their wedding rings bore the Sanskrit inscription Om Paramar Mainamar, translated as "We dedicate our union to a greater source." 107. Furness had 2 miscarriages. 107. After which she and Jackman adopted 2 children. 108. 109. 110. Jackman and his family live in New York City. In September 2023, the couple announced that they had separated. 111. 112. 113. Furness filed for divorce in May 2025, and it was finalized a month later. 114. As of 2025, he is in a relationship with the Music Man co-star Sutton Foster. 115. Jackman was raised Christian, attending multiple revivals during his childhood. In a 2015 interview, he identified as Christian 116 but says his version of faith differs from his father's. He takes his religion very seriously and would prefer I go to church. We've had discussions about our separate beliefs. I just find the evangelical church too, well, restrictive. 117. He meditates daily and incorporates teachings from the spiritually eclectic school of practical philosophy. 16. In November 2013, Jackman announced he had basal cell carcinoma removed from his nose. 118. He had a second carcinoma removed from his nose in May 2014, telling Associated Press that he expects to have future recurrences. 119. This resulted in Jackman attending the various worldwide premieres of X-Men, Days of Future Past with a bandage on his nose and urging his Instagram followers to wear sunscreen. 120. In April 2023, Jackman shared in a social media update that his biopsy results had all returned negative. He had tests taken as a precaution after his doctor observed symptoms that, according to the doctor, could be or could not be basal cell carcinomas. Jackman has undergone multiple procedures to remove skin cancer. He has continued to stress the significance of wearing high SPF sunscreen regardless of the season. 121. On March 18, 2015, Jackman revealed that he had to cancel stage performances in Turkey because he had a left vocal cord hemorrhage. 122. 123. A portrait of Jackman and Furnace by Paul Newton was a finalist in the 2022 Archibald Prize. 124. Other interests. In high school, Jackman played rugby union and cricket, took part in high jumping and was on the swimming team. 11. He enjoys basketball and kayaking. 125. He has expressed an interest in football, committing his support to Norwich City FC. 126. In the United States, Jackman supports the Philadelphia Union of Major League Soccer, attending a match at PPL Park in June 2010. 127. Jackman supports the Port Adelaide Football Club in the Australian Football League and once gave the team a pep talk prior to a showdown clash. 128. He is also a longtime fan and supporter of the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles, a National Rugby League, NRL, club based in Sydney's Northern Beaches. 129. He sang the Australian national anthem at the 1999 NRL Grand Final. 130. Jackman also guest-starred on September 19, 2011 edition of WWE Monday Night Raw, assisting Zack Ryder in a win over WWE United States Champion Dolph Ziggler by punching the champion in the jaw whilst the referee was not looking. 131. 132. Jackman plays the guitar, piano, and violin. 133. 134. He also does yoga. 135. And has been a member of the School of Practical Philosophy since 1992. 136. Jackman has been a practitioner of transcendental meditation since the age of 20. He said, "Nothing has ever opened my eyes like transcendental meditation has. It makes me calm and happy, and, well, it gives me some peace and quiet in what's a pretty chaotic life." He now helps the David Lynch Foundation to bring meditation to everyone from PTSD sufferers to inner city kids. 137. 138. Jackman has been the face of several high-profile brands. He is a global ambassador for Mont Blanc. 139. He is also the brand ambassador of R.M. Williams since March 2019. Zachary David Alexander Efron, /FRN/, born October 18, 1987, is an American actor. Efron began acting professionally in the early 2000s and rose to prominence as a teen idol for his leading role as Troy Bolton in the High School Musical film series, 2006 to 2008. During this time, he also starred in the musical film Hairspray, 2007, and the comedy film 17 Again, 2009. Efron had starring roles in the films New Year's Eve, 2011, The Lucky One, 2012, The Paperboy, 2012, Neighbors, 2014, Dirty Grandpa, 2016, Baywatch, 2017, and The Greatest Showman, 2017. He played Ted Bundy in Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile, 2019, and Kevin Von Erich in The Iron Claw, 2023. In 2021, he won a Daytime Emmy Award for hosting the Netflix travel show Down to Earth with Zac Efron, 2020 to 2022. Early life. Zachary David Alexander Efron was born on October 18, 1987 and grew up in Arroyo Grande, California. 2. His father, David Efron, is an electrical engineer at Diablo Canyon Power Plant, and his mother, Starla Baskett, is an administrative assistant who also works at Diablo Canyon. 3. 4. 5. Efron has a younger sister and 2 younger brothers. 6. Including Dylan Efron 1 and had, as he has described, a normal childhood in a middle-class family. 7. His surname originates from Hebrew. 8. His paternal grandfather is Jewish. 9. Efron has described himself as Jewish. 10. 11. Though he was raised agnostically and did not practice religion as a child. 12. He has said that he would flip out if he got a B and not an A in school, and was a class clown there. 13. Efron subsequently worked at the Great American Melodrama and the Vaudeville Theaters. 14. And began taking singing lessons. He performed in shows such as Gypsy, Peter Pan, or The Boy Who Wouldn't Grow Up, Little Shop of Horrors, and The Music Man. He was recommended to an agent in Los Angeles by his drama teacher, Robin Mechik, the mother of actor Aaron Michael Mechik. 15. Efron was later signed to the Creative Artists Agency. 16. Efron graduated from Arroyo Grande High School in 2006. 17. And was then accepted into the University of Southern California but did not enroll. He also attended Pacific Conservatory of the Performing Arts, a theater company operating out of Allen Hancock College, a community college located in Santa Maria, California, where he performed in 2000 and 2001. 18. Career. 2002 to 2009, early career and high school musical. Efron at the 2007 Nickelodeon Australian Kids' Choice Awards. Efron began acting in the early 2000s with guest roles on several television series including Firefly 19ER, and The Guardian. In 2004, he began appearing as a recurring character in the first season of the WB series Summerland. 20. For the show's second season, which aired in 2005, he was promoted to the main cast. He also appeared in some films, including the Lifetime television film Miracle Run, 2004, for which he earned a Young Artist Award nomination for his performance as one of 2 autistic twins. Efron's career reached a turning point with the teen musical television film High School Musical, 2006, which premiered on the Disney Channel in January 2006. The film, which has been described as a modern adaptation of Romeo and Juliet, saw Efron playing the male lead Troy Bolton, a high school basketball player who feels conflicted when he finds himself interested in participating in the school musical with Gabriela Montez, Vanessa Hudgens, a girl from the Scholastic Decathlon team. The film became a major success and helped Efron gain recognition among teenage audiences. The film's soundtrack was certified quadruple platinum by the RIA-21 and was one of the best-selling albums of the year in the United States. However, Efron's recordings of the film's songs were not included in the final cut, and the majority of his parts were sung by Drew Seeley. 22. The Troy Bolton role had been intended for a tenor before Efron's casting, and Efron was a baritone. In his subsequent musical films, Efron did his own singing. 23. Efron was next seen as Link Larkin in the musical comedy film Hairspray, 2007, based on the 2002 Broadway musical of the same name. Production conflicted with the High School Musical concert tour, which prevented Efron from joining. Drew Seeley filled in. The film became a major commercial and critical success upon its release in July 2007. Later that year, he reprised his role of Troy Bolton in High School Musical 2, 2007, which aired on the Disney Channel in August 2007. Efron again reprised his role in High School Musical 3, Senior Year, 2008, the first film in the High School Musical franchise to receive a theatrical release. The film became a major blockbuster at the box office, and received mixed to positive reviews from critics. He followed this with the commercially successful comedy 17 Again, 2009, about a 37-year-old man who is transformed into his 17-year-old self, Efron, after a chance accident. 2009, present, dramatic roles and mainstream projects. Efron in 2012. Efron's next release was Richard Linklater's period drama Me and Orson Welles, which premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in September 2008 and received a wide release in late 2009. The film earned mostly positive reviews from critics. He then played the title role in the supernatural romantic drama Charlie St. Cloud, 2010, which became a moderate success at the box office despite receiving mostly negative reviews from critics. Efron appeared as a part of the large ensemble cast in Gary Marshall's New Year's Eve, 2011, which depicted a series of holiday vignettes of different groups of characters. The film received almost unanimously negative reviews from critics, but became a major success at the box office. He also played a supporting role in the critically successful Liberal Arts, 2012, which premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in January 2012 and received a limited release later that year. He also starred in The Paperboy, 2012, which premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in May 2012 and received a wider release later that year. The film received mixed to negative reviews from critics. After lending his voice to the animated film The Lorax, 2012, he appeared as the male lead in the romantic drama The Lucky One, 2012, based on the novel of the same name by Nicholas Sparks. The film became a major box office success despite negative reviews from critics. He also starred in the drama At Any Price, which premiered at the 2012 Venice International Film Festival, and the historical drama Parkland, which premiered at the 2013 Venice International Film Festival. Both films received mixed reviews from critics. Efron's first release of 2014 was the romantic comedy That Awkward Moment, for which he also served as an executive producer. The film, which starred Efron as one of three bachelors in New York City, became a moderate commercial success despite receiving mostly negative reviews from critics. Later in 2014, Efron was seen in the adult comedy Neighbors, 2014. The film revolved around a young couple who struggle to raise their baby daughter while living next to the house of a wild fraternity led by its president, played by Efron. The film became a major commercial success and earned mostly positive reviews from critics, who also added that he had successfully shed his Disney pretty boy image. 24. Efron's only release in 2015 was the moderately successful We Are Your Friends, in which he played a struggling DJ. In January 2016, he starred in the adult comedy Dirty Grandpa as a straight-laced young man who begrudgingly indulges his grandfather's unhinged personality by taking him on a vacation to Florida. The film received mostly negative reviews from critics for its crude humor but became a commercial success upon its release. 25. He subsequently starred in the comedy sequel Neighbors 2, Sorority Rising, which became a commercial and critical success upon its release in May 2016. The film followed the same couple who team up with their former rival, Efron, to take down a hard-partying sorority led by a freshman. His third 2016 comedy, released in July, was Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Efron and extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile co-star Lily Collins in 2019. In 2017, Efron starred in Baywatch, an action comedy film version of the television series of the same name, released in May. Also in 2017, Efron had a supporting role in two biographical films released in December, The Disaster Artist, a comedy drama directed by and starring James Franco, and as Philip in the musical The Greatest Showman. Both films were nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. 26-27. In 2019, Efron played a drug-addled libertine in the Harmony Korine film The Beach Bum. 28. He also starred as serial killer Ted Bundy in Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. 29. The film premiered at Sundance in early 2019 and was released by Netflix on May 3. In 2020, Efron voiced Fred Jones in Warner Bros. Scooby-Doo animated film, Scoob! 30. In 2021, he won a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Daytime Program Host for the Netflix web documentary series Down to Earth with Zac Efron. 31 in 2022, he starred in the survival thriller Gold, directed by Anthony Hayes 32 and headlined the horror film Firestarter, a remake of the 1984 film based upon the novel of the same name by Stephen King, directed by Keith Thomas. 33 also that year, he starred in Peter Farrelly's Vietnam War set comedy The Greatest Beer Run Ever, which received mixed reviews. 34. In 2023, he starred as Kevin Von Erich in Sean Durkin's The Iron Claw, about the Von Erich family of wrestlers. 35. Other work. In 2010, Efron started his own production company under Warner Brothers, Ninjas Runnin' Wild. 36. The company played a part in the production of his films Dirty Grandpa, That Awkward Moment, and Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. 37. In 2019, Efron's brother Dylan Efron, who also plays a role in the company, stated that Ninjas Runnin' Wild has started to produce more digital content in addition to their traditional film work. 38. Efron announced the creation of his YouTube channel in March 2019. 39. The video sharing platform hosts 2 weekly series. 40. Off the Grid follows Efron and his brother Dylan as they participate in outdoor activities and trips without electronic devices with the exception of a video camera in order to document their experiences. 41. Gym Time spotlights fitness and nutrition, with Efron informing his viewers that he plans to train with celebrities, athletes, and interesting people. 40. 42. YouTube received backlash for promoting Efron's new channel in a post made from their official Twitter account. Some YouTube users accused the platform of promoting a mainstream celebrity's account, which they feared would overshadow lesser-known creators. 43. Personal life. Efron was on the Forbes Celebrity 100 list in 2008 at number 92, with estimated earnings of $5.8 million from June 2007 to June 2008. In April 2009, his personal wealth equaled about $10 million. 44. In May 2015, Efron's net worth was $18 million. 45. In March 2014, Efron engaged in a fight with a homeless man on Skid Row. Law enforcement officials did not make any arrests because they viewed it as mutual combat. 46. Efron turned to transcendental meditation to help decompress after struggling to separate himself from his role as serial killer Ted Bundy in his movie. I really love TM, transcendental meditation. I did TM on the way home. Not while driving, but when you're shooting a movie, one thing we can afford is a ride home, so on the way home I just do some TM and try to phase out of it. 47. Efron moved to Australia after selling his Los Angeles home in early 2021 4849 and purchased a property in Byron Bay while working on a number of projects there. 50. Health problems. Efron sought treatment in early 2013 after struggling with alcoholism and substance abuse. He has been sober since June 2013. 24. In November 2013, Efron had to have his jaw wired shut after breaking it in a fall at home. 51. He revealed in 2022 that he almost died during this incident, and that it was responsible for his facial swelling, apparent in a viral 2021 video for Bill Nye's Earth Day musical. 52-53. In December 2019, Efron contracted a serious and potentially life-threatening illness, a form of typhoid or similar bacterial infection, while filming his adventure series Killing Zac Efron in Papua New Guinea. He was flown to St Andrew's War Memorial Hospital in Brisbane, Australia, and was treated before flying back home on December 25. He recovered with little issue. 54, 55, 56, 57. Efron was a vegan for 2 years until 2022, when he began intermittent fasting. 58 and reintroduced meat into his diet after undergoing a series of food sensitivity tests. 59. In 2022, Efron opened up about his struggles with mental illnesses including insomnia, agoraphobia, and depression. He developed insomnia and depression after taking diuretics for a long period to prepare for his role in Baywatch. 6061. In August 2024, Efron was rushed to the hospital after being found unconscious in a swimming pool in Ibiza. According to TMZ, he was discovered by two villa employees who pulled him out of the water. The hospitalization was described as a precautionary measure and the incident as minor. Efron aspirated a significant amount of water into his lungs and had X-rays taken to ensure his lungs were clear before being discharged the following day. Rebecca Louisa Ferguson Sundström, born October 19, 1983, is a Swedish actress. Known for her roles on film and television, she has acted in several blockbuster franchises and Hollywood films. She has received nominations for a Golden Globe Award and 2 Critics' Choice Awards. Born to a British mother and a Swedish father, Ferguson began her television acting career in 1999 with the Swedish soap opera Nya Tider and made her motion picture acting debut in 2004 with the Swedish slasher film Drowning Ghost. She came to international prominence with her portrayal of Elizabeth Woodville in the British drama The White Queen, 2013, for which she was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a miniseries or television film. In American cinema, Ferguson portrayed MI6 agent Ilsa Faust, opposite Tom Cruise, in 3 of the Mission Impossible films: Rogue Nation, 2015, Fallout, 2018, and Dead Reckoning, 2023, and Lady Jessica in the science fiction films Dune, 2021, and Dune, Part 2, 2024. She played Jenny Lind in the musical film The Greatest Showman, 2017, and acted in the horror films Life, 2017, and Dr. Sleep, 2019, the comedy drama Florence Foster Jenkins, 2016, thriller The Girl on the Train, 2016, and the political drama A House of Dynamite, 2025. Since 2023, she has starred in the Apple TV Plus science fiction series Silo, playing an intelligent engineer in an underground community, a role for which she has received nominations for a Saturn Award and a Satellite Award. Early life and education. Rebecca Louisa Ferguson Sundström 1-2 was born on October 19, 1983 in Stockholm 4 and grew up in the city's Vasastan district. 3. Her mother, Rosemary Ferguson 4, is English 5'6" and moved from Britain to Sweden at age 25. 5. Her mother helped ABBA translate the lyrics from their 1974 album Waterloo into English 7 and also appeared on the sleeve of the band's 1975 self-titled album. 8. Better source needed. Her father, Olof Sundström, is a Swedish businessman. 4. 9. Ferguson took her mother's surname as her stage name. 10. Her maternal grandmother is Northern Irish. 6. And her maternal grandfather is Scottish. 6. Ferguson attended an English medium school in Sweden and was raised bilingual, speaking Swedish and English. 11. She attended the Adolf Fredriks Music School in Stockholm and graduated in 1999. 12. From the age of 13, she worked as a model and appeared in magazines and on television commercials for cosmetic, apparel, and jewelry advertisements. 13. Ferguson has danced from a very early age. She danced ballet, tap dancing, jazz, street funk and tango. She taught Argentine tango at a dance company in Lund, Sweden for a few years. 14. While she continued her work on several short art film projects. 15. Unsure if she wanted to act, Ferguson had other jobs, such as working at a daycare center, as a nanny, at a jewelry shop, at a shoe shop and at a Korean restaurant. 16. Career. Beginnings. Ferguson came to prominence as upper-class girl Anna Gripenhelm in the Swedish soap opera Nya Tider, 1999 to 2000. 16. She went on to later play Chrissy Eriksson in the Swedish-American soap Ocean Ave, 2002. 17. In 2004, she made her feature film debut in Mikael Hafström's horror film Drowning Ghost and later had a guest role in Wallander, 2008. 17 Swedish director Richard Hobart spotted her at the Simrishamn town market in 2011, which led to her starring in his film A One-Way Trip to Antibes SV,118, which earned her a nomination for the Rising Star Award at the Stockholm International Film Festival. In 2013, she co-starred in the film Mus SV alongside Gustav Skarsgård. 19. International recognition. In August 2012, it was announced Ferguson had been cast to play Elizabeth Woodville in the 10-part BBC historical television drama The White Queen, 2013, 20 based on Philippa Gregory's The Cousins War novels about the women of the Wars of the Roses. 21 Ferguson's performance in The White Queen was met with critical praise 22 and earned her a Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Actress in a Miniseries or Television Film. 23 Her first Hollywood role was against Dwayne Johnson in Hercules, 2014. 24. Blockbuster films. Ferguson at the world premiere of Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation in Vienna in 2015. In 2015, Ferguson gained wider recognition for her portrayal of MI6 agent Ilse Faust, the female lead in the fifth Mission Impossible film, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, for which she received critical acclaim. 25, 26, 27, 28 Tom Cruise handpicked Ferguson to star opposite him in the film after watching her in The White Queen 1:29:30 and noticing a resemblance between Ferguson and Ingrid Bergman. 4 She reprised her role in the sixth Mission Impossible film, Mission Impossible: Fallout, released in 2018, her biggest commercial success, grossing over $790 million worldwide 31-32, and reprised it again in the seventh film, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, in 2023. 33. In 2016, she played the dual roles of Katya and Lauren in the Cold War espionage thriller directed by Shamim Saraf, Despite the Falling Snow, opposite Sam Reed and Charles Dance. 34 For her performance in the film, she won the Best Actress award at the 2016 Prague Independent Film Festival. 35 Later that same year, Ferguson appeared in Stephen Frears's Florence Foster Jenkins opposite Meryl Streep and Hugh Grant. 36 And Tate Taylor's thriller book adaptation The Girl on the Train starring Emily Blunt. 37 In 2017, Ferguson played the female lead in Daniel Espinosa's sci-fi horror Life, opposite Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds. 38 Co-starred in Tomasz Alfredson's crime thriller The Snowman, alongside Michael Fassbender and Charlotte Gainsbourg. 39 And starred as Swedish opera singer Jenny Lind in the musical film The Greatest Showman, with Hugh Jackman and Michelle Williams. 40. Ferguson at 82nd Venice International Film Festival. In 2019, Ferguson had several major film roles. She co-starred in Dr. Sleep, the adaptation of Stephen King's novel of the same name. 41 Played the villain Morgana in Joe Cornish's adventure film The Kid Who Would Be King. 42 And co-starred as Risa Stavros in F. Gary Gray's science fiction comedy film Men in Black, International. 43 In 2021, she co-starred in Lisa Joy's science fiction thriller Reminiscence. 44. Denis Villeneuve cast her as Lady Jessica in his film adaptation of Frank Herbert's science fiction novel Dune. 45 Playing the role in both Dune, 2021, and Dune, Part 2, 2024. 46. In 2023, Ferguson starred in and executive produced the Apple TV Plus science fiction series Silo. 47. Personal life. In 2007, Ferguson gave birth to her first child, a son, with her then-boyfriend Ludwig Hallberg. 48 A psychosynthesis therapist. 49 After her soap opera success and the birth of their son, she moved with Hallberg to Simrishamn, on the Swedish southeast coast. 50 In 2012, Ferguson and Hallberg taught tango together in Österlen. 50 The couple separated in April 2015. 50. Since 2016, 51 Ferguson has been in a relationship with businessman Rory St. Clair Gaynor for 52, with whom she has a daughter who was born in May 2018. 53 They married in December 2018. 51 They have a house in Richmond, southwest London, owing to its proximity to Pinewood and Shepperton Studios. 52 Ferguson has a preference for going barefoot, a habit that influenced her creative choices for the costume of Rose the Hat in Dr. Sleep. Zendaya Marie Stoermer Coleman, /Zendai/Zendaya 2, born September 1, 1996, is an American actress and singer. The recipient of numerous accolades, including 2 Primetime Emmy Awards and a Golden Globe Award, she was named by Time as one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2022. Her films as a leading actress have grossed over $3.9 billion worldwide. Born in Oakland, California, Zendaya began her career as a child model and backup dancer before gaining prominence for her role as Rocky Blue on the Disney Channel sitcom Shake It Up, 2010 to 2013. She then starred in and produced the channel sitcom KC Undercover, 2015 to 2018. Zendaya made her feature film debut as Michelle in the Marvel Cinematic Universe film Spider-Man: Homecoming, 2017. She reprised her role in its sequels Far From Home, 2019, and No Way Home, 2021, both of which grossed over $1 billion worldwide. For her performance as Rue Bennett, a struggling drug-addicted teenager, in the HBO teen drama series Euphoria, 2019, present, Zendaya won 2 Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, becoming the youngest performer to win the category, as well as a Golden Globe Award. Zendaya's other film roles include the musical The Greatest Showman, 2017, the romantic dramas Malcolm and Marie, 2021, and Challengers, 2024, and Chani in the science fiction films Dune, 2021, and Dune, Part 2, 2024. In 2011, she released the singles Swag It Out and Watch Me, the latter a collaboration with Bella Thorne. Signed to Hollywood Records, she released her debut studio album, titled Zendaya, 2013, to moderate success. Its lead single, Replay, peaked within the top 40 of the US Billboard 200. Her Zac Efron collaboration, Rewrite the Stars, from The Greatest Showman soundtrack, 2017, reached the top 20 of several record charts and has received multi-platinum sales certifications globally. She has also written and performed several songs for Euphoria. Early life and acting background. I knew I wanted to be an entertainer. I could see myself singing and dancing in front of millions of people. Zendaya in her book Between You and Me, 2013, 3. Zendaya Marie Stoermer Coleman was born in Oakland, California, on September 1, 1996. 4-5 Her name derives from the Shona name Tende, meaning to give thanks. 6 Both of Zendaya's parents were teachers. 7 Her father, Kazembe Ajima Coleman, is African American, with Nigerian ancestry. 8 And her mother, Claire Stoermer, has German and Scottish ancestry. 9 She has 5 older half-siblings from her father's previous relationships. 10 Zendaya attended Fruitvale Elementary School, where her mother taught. 11 She was described as energetic and outgoing at home but reserved and shy at school. At the end of the school year, her parents had her repeat kindergarten to help build her confidence. 5 Because of her father's passion for basketball, Zendaya's parents enrolled her in a local basketball team. After losing interest in the sport, she switched to soccer and track, but both also turned out to be unsuccessful. 12 Around this time, Zendaya, aged 6, and 2 of her friends performed a play at school for Black History Month. 13 At 8 years old, she joined a hip-hop dance group called Future Shock Oakland, where she performed for 3 years. 14-15 She also spent 2 years dancing hula with the Academy of Hawaiian Arts. 16-17 After deciding to pursue acting, Zendaya assisted her mother, who spent the summer working as a house manager at the California Shakespeare Theater. 14 There, she assisted patrons with their seats and sold fundraising tickets, but her primary interest was in the theatrical performances. 11-18 Her first acting role was as a silkworm in her school's production of James and the Giant Peach. 14 Aged 11, she began attending Oakland School for the Arts 11 and, while still a student, was cast in several roles in area theaters. At the Berkeley Playhouse, Zendaya portrayed Little T.I. Mound in Once on This Island, and in TheaterWorks' Palo Alto production of Caroline, or Change, she played Jo, a role originally written for a male performer. 19. By 6th grade, Zendaya played Lady Anne in Richard III and Celia in As You Like It and took part in a production of Twelfth Night. 2021 When Zendaya was in 7th grade, she and her father relocated to a small apartment in downtown Los Angeles. Her mother continued to stay in Oakland. 22-9 Retrospectively, she said of the experience that her father knew what I wanted more than anything in the world, though she admitted she missed a lot of fun things while I was pursuing my dreams and it was difficult not being able to be with my mom and my dog. 22 In 2015, she graduated from Oak Park High School. 23-11. Career. 2009 to 2016, early recognition with Shake It Up and musical ventures. Zendaya began her career working as a fashion model for Macy's, Mervyn's, and Old Navy and also appeared as a backup dancer in a Sears commercial with Disney star Selena Gomez. 24-25 In 2009, she was a featured performer in the Kids Bop music video for its cover of the song Hot and Cold by Katy Perry. 26 In November 2009, Zendaya was among 200 girls who auditioned for the Disney Channel sitcom Shake It Up, which follows two teenage friends who get their big break on the local dance show Shake It Up Chicago. 27 She originally auditioned for the role of Cease Jones, which ultimately went to her co-star Bella Thorne. Instead, Zendaya was cast as Rocky Blue. 28 Judy Taylor, Senior Vice President of Disney Channel, described Zendaya as completely engaging with a great presence, while saying that Thorne had high energy and that viewers would want to get to know her better the instant you meet her. 29. A young, calm Zendaya sitting on a chair, holding a microphone in her right hand. She has long, dark hair styled in loose waves and is wearing a colorful sleeveless top with a pink vest over it. Zendaya hosting the Make Your Mark, Ultimate Dance-Off event in 2011. The first season of Shake It Up premiered on November 7, 2010, and was watched by 6.2 million viewers, becoming Disney Channel's second highest rated premiere in its history. 30 In 2011, Zendaya released Swag It Out, a promotional independent single, and starred in the book trailer for From Bad to Cursed by Katie Allender. 31-32 That same year, she performed the single Watch Me with Thorne, which peaked at number 86 on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart. 33 In 2011, Target stores launched a clothing line inspired by the outfits worn by Zendaya and other cast members of Shake It Up. 34 The second season of Shake It Up premiered in September 2011. 35 Zendaya made her film debut as an aspiring magazine editor in Frenemies, 2012, a Disney Channel original movie. 36-37 In February 2012, Something to Dance For was released as a promotional single for the soundtrack of the second season of Shake It Up. In October 2012, Shake It Up's third and final season premiered. 38-39 That year, she signed with Hollywood Records. 40 Zendaya was later announced as one of the celebrity contestants on the 16th season of Dancing with the Stars. 41 At age 16, she became the youngest contestant in the show's history at the time. Partnered with professional dancer Valentin Shmerkovsky, Zendaya finished as the runner-up to Kelly Pickler and Derek Hough in May 2013. 42-43 Zendaya released her debut studio album, titled Zendaya, on September 17, 2013, through Hollywood Records. 44-45 A pop and R&B album, Zendaya discusses issues of heartbreak and love. 46-47 The album peaked at number 51 on the US Billboard 200. 45 The record was preceded by its lead single, Replay, which peaked at number 40 on the Billboard Hot 100. 48-49 Zendaya at the San Diego Comic-Con International in 2016. In 2014, Zendaya starred in the Disney Channel film Zapped, playing a high school student whose phone gains the power to control the boys around her. 50 John Caramanica, writing in the New York Times, wrote that she did not seem to be even a little thrilled, and described the film overall as hastily written and structured. 51 Zendaya was then cast as the lead in a Disney Channel pilot titled Super Awesome Katie. 52 The show was picked up to series in May 2014 under the new title KC Undercover, with Zendaya's character renamed from Katie Cooper to KC Cooper. 52 Zendaya exerted influence over the renaming of her character and the retitling of the series, also deciding several elements of the character's personality. 53 KC Undercover premiered in January 2015. 54. In 2014, Zendaya appeared as a guest judge on an episode of Project Runway, Under the Gun, where the contestants were challenged to design an outfit for her to wear at an upcoming concert performance. 55 In March 2015, musician Timbaland confirmed that he was collaborating with Zendaya on her second album, following her move from Disney's label to Republic Records. 56-57 In February 2016, she released Something New featuring Chris Brown, through Hollywood Records and Republic Records, her first official release since signing with the latter. 58-45 In December 2016, Zendaya appeared as a guest judge in the season finale of Project Runway's 15th season. 59. 2017 to 2021, rise to prominence. Zendaya with dark, wavy hair styled back. Zendaya at the 2018 MTV Movie and TV Awards. In August 2017, Zendaya appeared in the music video for the song Versace on the Floor by Bruno Mars. 60 That year, she made her feature film debut, playing Michelle in the Marvel Cinematic Universe film Spider-Man: Homecoming. 61-62 She wore no makeup to her screen test, a decision that was carried through in production, and added her own embellishments to the character, including carrying around her own mug of strange herbal tea. 63-64 Zendaya described Michelle as very dry, awkward, and intellectual, adding that she found it refreshing to play a character who was weird and different, and that a lot of young people, especially young women, can relate to that. 65-66 Reviewing Homecoming, The Hollywood Reporter and The Guardian praised Zendaya as a scene stealer. 67-68 While Time's Stephanie Zacharek lauded her delightfully sullen insouciance. 69 The film went on to gross over $880 million worldwide, making it the sixth highest grossing film of 2017. 70 Zendaya then starred in the original musical film The Greatest Showman, 2017, portraying a trapeze artist who falls in love with Zac Efron's character during a time when interracial relationships were socially taboo. 71 Owen Gleiberman of Variety praised her on-screen chemistry with Efron. 72 While The Hollywood Reporter highlighted her for registering strongest, bringing touching sensitivity to her handful of scenes. 73 She appeared on 3 songs from the film's soundtrack, including Rewrite the Stars and The Greatest Show, which reached numbers 70 and 88 respectively on Billboard Hot 100. 74-75 Alt equals Zendaya with long, straight, reddish-brown hair, wearing a sleeveless, red, sequined dress with thin black straps. Zendaya at the premiere of Spider-Man: Far From Home in 2019. In September 2018, Zendaya voiced the Yeti Michi in Warner Bros. Animated film Smallfoot. 76 which was met with positive reviews from critics. 77 In 2019, Zendaya began starring in the HBO drama series Euphoria, an adaptation of the Israeli show of the same name, playing Rue, a 17-year-old drug addict who is also the series narrator. 78. The show premiered on June 16, 2019, to generally favorable reception. 79. A Guardian writer said that Zendaya is reinvented as the self-destructive, self-loathing Rue, in what is a truly astonishing, mesmerizing performance, upending every expectation of what she could do. 80. Doreen St. Felix, writing in The New Yorker, echoed this, stating that it becomes difficult, and then absolutely silly, to recall the pink outlines of her early career on the Disney Channel, so grandly does she inhabit this dark new role. 81. Zendaya reprised her role as Michelle in Spider-Man, Far From Home, 2019. 82. Critic Christy Lemire described her portrayal as darkly alluring and praised her humorous, deadpan charm. 83. And Todd McCarthy, in The Hollywood Reporter, lauded her for being appealing as well as funny. 84. The film grossed over $1.1 billion worldwide, ranking as the fourth highest grossing release of 2019. 85. At the 72nd Primetime Emmy Awards in 2020, Zendaya won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, becoming the youngest recipient of the award at 24. 86. In 2021, Zendaya starred in and produced Sam Levinson's Malcolm and Marie, filmed during the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic under strict safety protocols and with a minimal crew. 87. 88. The film received mixed reviews, though Richard Brody described her as the movie's only redeeming quality. 89. 90. Zendaya next voiced Lola Bunny in Space Jam: A New Legacy, 2021. 91. She accepted the role after Ryan Coogler approached her, citing both her admiration for him and her fondness for the original 1996 film. 92. Having grown up with the first Space Jam, Zendaya drew inspiration from her family's love of basketball for her performance. 93. She then portrayed Chani in Denis Villeneuve's science fiction epic Dune, the first installment of a two-part adaptation of the 1965 novel. 94. Critic Glenn Kenny described her performance as better than apt. 95. While Brian Lowry, writing for CNN, said that her screen time was largely limited to gauzy images in the protagonist's visions. 96. Zendaya then reprised her role as Michelle in Spider-Man: No Way Home, with Brian Tallarico, writing for Roger Ebert's website, praising her chemistry with Tom Holland and her handling of the character's emotional final beats. 97. 2022, present, established actress. Having previously collaborated with Labyrinth on All For Us for Euphoria's first season. 98. Zendaya co-wrote two songs for the second season in 2022, I'm Tired and Elliot's song, also providing vocals on the former. 99. For her performance in the second season, she earned 4 Emmy nominations at the 74th Primetime Emmy Awards. 100. She became the youngest two-time nominee in Emmy history for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, and her nomination as an executive producer for Outstanding Drama Series made her the youngest woman ever recognized in the category. By winning the Lead Actress Award, she also became the youngest person to win 2 Emmys. 101. 102. In 2023, she won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, Television Series Drama at the 80th Golden Globe Awards and received a Screen Actors Guild Award nomination for her performance in Euphoria. 103. 104. In 2022, Zendaya appeared in Elvis Mitchell's documentary Is That Black Enough For You? 105. Zendaya, on the left, laughing, next to Calumet, who is smiling. Zendaya and co-star Timothy Calumet promoting Dune, Part 2 in 2024. During the second weekend of Coachella 2023, she joined Labyrinth for a surprise performance of All For Us and I'm Tired, marking her first live performance in 8 years. 106. 107. She was also featured on the opening track, The Feels, of Labyrinth's third studio album, Ends and Begins, 2023. 108. Zendaya next appeared in the documentary Invisible Beauty, 2023, which focuses on the life and work of American model and activist Beth Ann Hardison. 109 She said that playing tennis helped her get in shape for her 2024 films Dune, Part 2 and Challengers. 110 Zendaya reprised her role as Chani in Dune, Part 2. 110 She stated that she experienced heat stroke because she did not drink enough water during filming, citing a fear of peeing herself. 111 Her fierce, open-hearted performance was lauded by Vulture. 112 and Polygon lauded her economical acting, deeming it a career best. 113 Zendaya starred in and produced the romantic sports drama Challengers, directed by Luca Guadagnino, alongside Josh O'Connor and Mike Faist. 114 She characterized the role as an opportunity to abandon her earlier image and portray a character closer to her own age. 115 116 In the film, she portrayed a former tennis prodigy who suffered a career-ending injury and became a coach. 117 118 A critic for The New Statesman wrote that the film was a brilliant showcase for Zendaya, whose on-screen magnetism has rarely been channeled so effectively. 119 At the 82nd Golden Globe Awards in 2025, Zendaya received a nomination for the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy for Challengers. 120 Zendaya will next star opposite Robert Pattinson in the romantic drama The Drama and in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, 2026. 121 122 She is set to appear as Michelle in Spider-Man, Brand New Day, 2026, 123 and will also reprise her role as Rue Bennett in the third season of Euphoria. 124 In March 2025, Zendaya was confirmed to star as Ronnie Spector, the front woman of the Ronettes, in Be My Baby, a biopic based on Spector's memoir of the same name. 125 126 127 She will also serve as a producer on the project. 128 Before her death in 2022, Spector personally chose Zendaya for the role. 129 Other activities. Fashion and business. Zendaya with a neutral expression. Zendaya promoting Smallfoot in 2018. Zendaya has served as the face of several major brands, including Beats Electronics 130 Material Girl 131 CoverGirl 132 and Chi Hair Care 133 and has modeled for designers such as Michael Kors and Dolce & Gabbana. 134 135 In August 2013, she published her debut book, Between You and Me, How to Rock Your Tween Years with Style and Confidence, written to help girls through the tougher parts of the tween years. 136 137 2 years later, she launched her first shoe collection, Daya, named after her childhood nickname, and followed it in November 2016 with her clothing line.